Okay. Job canceled. Okay, perfect. I'm glad you're here. Okay, that was kind of a butt pucker. Yeah, because I went to hit live, and then StreamYard says, we have just deleted your broadcast. I'm like, ah! Anyway, okay, you should see 3 screens now. You should see me on one. You should see my eye, and then you should see my shared screen as well. So, and hopefully you can hear me. Okay. All right, so let me go to, let me see here. Let me make sure I know what I'm doing here. Sorry, y'all. I had this all figured out this morning, and it just went crazy on me. There we go. Okay, let me turn my phone off, too. I was outside sunning myself because it's so pretty. And here I am again. Oh, there you are. Okay, so great. So let's get started. I'm not sure, everybody's probably outside, so I'm not sure who else watching, but if you are, just say hey. If you have any questions, stop me along the way. I'll be looking at your comments along the way. We want to keep this at about an hour, so not to take up your time. And we're going to have a lot of fun today. Appreciate you guys that have been sending over your sketches for me to help you out with. Personal critique. That's been fun just to see the progress going on. So keep those coming. You can private message me on Facebook or on my website, thewildnest.com, or on Instagram. You can private message me and send me pictures. Hi, Linda. Hey, Adriana. You found me. And Amy. Okay. So it is gorgeous outside. Can you believe last week it was 4 degrees? I don't know why that keeps getting bigger than it should. I'm not sure what's happening here. Hold on. I'm not sure why that keeps getting big. It's weird. Okay. That's really strange. Okay. See, it just keeps getting bigger. That's really strange. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Wow. Okay. Technical issues today, you guys. I'm not sure what the deal is. Okay, and why it's doing that. But oof, I don't like that. Okay. Strange. Maybe it's that. Hold on. This is the first time this has happened. I'm seeing some weird stuff on my screen, which is really strange. But, okay, without further ado, I hope you can see at least that part, and you're not seeing all 3 screens on. So, just gotta love technology. Let me just, I apologize, you guys. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, we'll just go with that. All right. Okay, so hopefully you can see my hands. Yep, here I am. All right, and we are going to talk about the parts of the eye, okay? So we're going to start out with a visual that I have here. And I'll be scrolling through some things on my shared screen in a minute. But hopefully y'all can see that. I'm going to zoom in here. Right there. Okay, don't let that scare you. We're just going to look at the different parts of the eye. Now, I read some comments on the materials used, and if you guys have even a old pencil, this is an HB, which is kind of hard and kind of soft, feel free to use that, okay? And if you have one of these little nubby, these erasers, take an X-Acto knife and just chisel it down, let's see if I can say, whittle it away to a little point. So if you don't have any fancy schmancy supplies, I'm actually waiting on an Amazon supply that's 2 weeks late, and it's been delayed, and I don't know what's going on. But anyway, if you don't have it, like the eraser that I showed last week, or that kind of stuff, just get what you have, and that'll be fine. I'll be using a mechanical pencil, okay, to start out with. All right. So let's go over the parts of the eye. All right. So everybody knows we have the iris, which is the colored part. We have your upper lid, you have your lower lid, and last week, y'all remember I said that the eyelashes come off of the edge of that lid, not I see a lot of people doing eyelashes that come straight from the edge of the eye, and that's not correct anatomically. They will come off this lower ledge. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, upper lid, lower lid. Okay, the white of the eye, it's called the sclera, in case you didn't know, but we'll be calling it the white of the eye because who uses sclera? Okay, and then this little area here, it's the caruncle or caruncle, and it's where the tear duct is. It's not actually the tear duct. The tear duct is behind there. So, but that's something that a lot of people forget. They do the eye, and then they forget that little bitty corner is where the tear duct is. Teardrop. Okay, and then the center here is the pupil. Now I have another one here, another really good illustration here. And this adds the brows, it adds the eyelashes. Here's your upper lid. Always there's a reflection, or 99 or 98% of the time there's a reflection, unless you're in a dark room or whatever. But you're always going to have a reflection, and that's always going to give you that shiny part of the eye that kind of makes the body come alive, the face come alive. Your pupil is always in the center. And the sclera, which is the white, the iris is the color. And then the iris, what I like about this illustration here is that it shows that there is a boundary here, because the iris boundary is usually darker than the color of the eye. So always keep that in mind. You're going to have a darker perimeter around the iris, okay? And then pupil also has a boundary as well, which is, we'll look at it in a second. I want to show you my screen here, if you can hear me, hopefully. Luann, hey Luann, how are you doing? Yeah, y'all let me know on a consistent basis if you can hear me, because I want to make sure I'm not losing you. Okay, so I want to show you this. This is the actual pupil. If you're looking at my screen, I'm sharing the screen with you. This is the actual pupil, and if you see, it's a hole. It's an actual hole. If you've never seen the middle of your eye, this is a hole. It's pretty amazing, these pictures that were taken from this artist. And how fascinating is this part of our bodies? Wow, look at that. I mean, it's made up of so many neat little parts. Unbelievable. But I wanted you to see the eye itself. And then, of course, the round part over it, which I haven't covered, is the cornea, but or the cornea or the lens. Okay, but look at these eyes. They're just fascinating, because they're all, you can see the whole, you can see the extent of the eye. And the closer we are at rendering this, the more realistic we're going to have of the eye. It's pretty crazy. Okay, I wanted y'all to see that. Isn't that beautiful? And on that lens, you're going to see reflection, and the reflection is what's going to give it dimension. And you can see the eyelashes right there. You see that's all reflection. So we want to always remember, I told you last week, if I could train your eye to see detail, that's what's really going to really enhance your drawing ability. Okay, here you see how close the eyelashes are. Isn't that amazing? And all the little light colors and how the light is being enhanced on the eyelashes. Here you have one. You can see the reflection of the eye. Isn't this fascinating? Y'all think this is fascinating? I was just like blown away at this eye. And they're so different too. Look at that. You can't draw the eyes the same way over and over, but that's an amazing, I just thought it was an amazing website. Okay, let's go to, there is I'm kind of winded because of what just happened, but anyway, and I'm not seeing the right thing on the screen, so hopefully you guys are seeing it. But anyway, here's a really good outline of the different parts of the eye right there, and then here's another one. This is a real eye that's been opened up really well, and we're going to kind of practice off of that one in a minute, okay? All right, so let's go to this one. Let's go here to my welcome. Hold on, learning how to do this thing. Okay, there we go. All right, so now you can see what I'm seeing. Hopefully I can, oh, crud. Wait, sorry. I want to go back to my screen here. There we go. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay. So let's talk about how we're going to start out. Now, everybody have their pencils, okay? And I'm using today, let me show you kind of what I'm using. No, I'm using not this scattered, but again, if you're hopping on here today, or you're going to catch the replay, you're going to go, whoa, what happened to her today? Okay, I'm using a mechanical pencil. I'm using a little piece of this plastic eraser that I cut off. And I cut it off just to get the point, okay? So you don't have to buy these fancy supplies. Just get what you have. And if you need to shave it off with an X-Acto knife, just do that. And you've got a nice point to be able to erase things. So I'm using the point of a plastic eraser. I'm going to be using my kneaded eraser because that's always a go-to. I'm going to be using a stump today to shade, and we'll go over shading. Today we'll go over some shading, but we're also going to go over shading in depth in another class. So just keep that in mind, okay? I'm using a little tortillon, which is another little blending stump that is a fine point so that I can get into small places in the eye. And a brush. Last week I had somebody ask me about the brush. I'm using an angled brush only because it helps me to get into corners. But today, because we're doing an eye, I'm going to be using a rounded, just an old rounded brush. Doesn't matter what it is, just have a little brush. These are excellent for blending, okay? And then, again, last week we covered the fact that if the pencil has a B on it, that means it's black or bold or darker, okay? If it's got an H on it, it's hard, and it's going to be lighter. And you can actually feel the difference. You can actually feel when you run your pencil lead on paper. You can tell which one's a hard one, and you can tell which one's a softer one. I'm using an HB, which is kind of half and half in my pencils, and there's HB in my mechanical pencil as well. And then these old school pencils are also HB, so it's a good go-to if you don't have to have all this fancy schmancy stuff. Okay, now one thing I want to point out is let's go ahead and draw a circle. Okay, we're going to start out drawing a circle, and of course, don't worry about it being perfect. And I'm going to change pencils because that's way too dark. Okay, let me. Crop into this right here. Okay. On the pupil, let's talk about the pupil first. Okay. The pupil is the center of the eye, okay? And it will always be in the center. So if you want to, well, let's just go ahead and do it. Let everybody draw a circle and then put a cross right down the vertical center and the horizontal center. Where those two meet, you're going to do a pupil. And remember, the pupil could be this small, depends on how much light is in it. I mean, we get into the mechanics of eyes now, how much light is in it. Or if you're in the dark, your pupils are going to be huge. Remember that? When you are in the dark and then you open when we used to do that as kids, you open up, turn on the light, and then your pupils immediately go back to normal. It's pretty cool. So pupils can be this big, or they can be this big, but they're always going to be in the center. When you have an eye, when you see like part of the eye, like the iris on the side view, you're also going to see the center. If I'm doing a side, my pupil is going to be right there. Okay, so it doesn't matter what angle you're on. I'm going to change this real quick here so I can do a double view. Hopefully I can. Nope. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. I guess, yeah, doesn't matter if you guys don't see me or not, but I don't know, I just feel like I can see what you're seeing. And I'm having issues today. I don't know what's going on. There we go. No, let's do that. Okay, strange. Yeah, I had it all figured out this morning. I mean, like, all figured out, and then it all just came falling apart. So, okay, that's enough. That's enough excuses. All right, here we go. So, the pupil. Keep that in mind. It's like a target. Okay? Now, let's put pupil. If you're following along with me, go ahead and label everything so that you can go back and say, hey, what was this? Okay? So the pupil is always in the center, right here, and this is the iris. Okay? And it could be as big as this, or it could be as big as this. Okay? I'm going to do another one just to have one pupil on there. Okay? And I'm going to divide it in half and then do my center. Okay? And then we can shade it in like that. So, pupil and iris. Okay, make sure that you get the replay so you can see the different pictures of the eye that I just showed. Remember, this is a hole, okay? And in the hole, you have the center, okay? And you're going to have things radiating out from that pupil. I'm actually not sure what they're called, and it really doesn't matter. But you're going to have, in this colored portion of the iris, you will have different things radiating from the pupil. And let me kind of point out some pictures, okay? So here you see the little things that are radiated from the eye. See, they're not coming from the edge of the eye. They're coming from the center, okay? Yeah? And this is an illustration. It's not real accurate as far as reality, so don't look at that. But let's look at the real eye when I post it. This one almost looks like it has a contact lens on it. It looks so weird. But you see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful eye, but it's so different. You see from the center, it's radiating these little black things from the eye. See that? Here's another one. Go with this one too. You can see there's little things radiated from the eye. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. All right, so pupil, iris, and then these things that come out. We're not going to show them right now, but we will. All right, let's talk about the shape of the eye. Okay, now a lot of people, they'll do the shape, they'll go like this, and they'll go like this. That is not accurate. It may be some people, I mean, eyes are really, really different, but really, eyes have shape, okay? Eyes have kind of 5 shapes. They have the little carbuncle, the little edge there. We're doing a left eye here. And then they have shape 1, which is this, okay? Shape 2, which is the top edge. Shape 3, shape 4, shape 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 and 4 are directly diagonal to each other. Bet you didn't know that. Okay? So let's do that again. We're going to put in, let's go right here, do our tear duct. Okay? How are we doing, y'all? Can't see, Adriana? Can't see? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all can't see. Ooh, that's not good. We are seeing your hand, but not drawing. Oh, I'm so sorry. How far did we get? Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm telling you. It's so strange. My screen is, like, blacked out. Because I'm seeing everything, but it's, like, blown up. Can y'all see me now? Can't see any of this. Oh, that's not good. I'll have to edit it. Y'all should see that now. Can you see it now? Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Thank you, Dina. Wow, I apologize, guys. This is not good. I hate this. Okay, y'all don't give up on me. Don't give up on me now. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that right there. I mean, you can see that. Doesn't matter what I can see. Okay, so let's go back over. Hopefully, I don't know where y'all cannot see. That's what's weird. Okay, we were talking about the pupil. Just go over this really quickly. We were talking about the pupil, the iris, and then the things that radiate from the pupil, like I showed you on that picture. This one. You see that? Okay. All right, now let's go back over this until I can see this. The eye shape. Okay. The eye shape, let me go back over it. You heard me, but you couldn't see it. Okay. And I'm going to draw bigger. Okay. Most people draw eyes like this. Okay. And I'll be checking. Okay, you can see it now. Good. We do the fourth pick. That looks good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank y'all for communicating with me. Wow. Y'all are a godsend. This is awesome. Okay, so this shape of the eye, it can be accurate in some instances, but it's really not. Okay, so I want to show you the actual anatomy of the eye shape. Okay, we're going to take that same shape. We're going to make the tear duct. If you're following along, do a little carbuncle here. We'll call it the tear duct because that's what we calls it. But it's the carbuncle or carbuncle. Okay. Shape. There's 5 shapes. 1, which comes right out off of that. Okay. Then it stops right about there. And then it goes over to 2. Okay. So we have 1, 2. Then it goes over to 3. 3. That's kind of exaggerated. And then it goes over to 4, and 4 and 1 are parallel and diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 1, diagonal. And then 5. 5 finishes it up. So it's like, okay? And that gives you a more accurate shape of the eye itself. Okay, and then we'll get into it in a minute is all the different shapes of eyes. Okay, so let's do that again. Let's do the tear duct. We're going to do shape number 1, which kind of comes up like this from the tear duct. Then we're going to go over as a dome. Shape 2. Shape 3 comes to the corner. 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And remember, these are directly diagonal, parallel to each other in most instances. All right. Okay, how are we doing? Am I 1, 2? Can't see number 1, 2, 3. Dina, can't see. Oh, Debbie, pull it down a bit. Can't see top of it. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with yeah, I'm seeing something totally different from what you guys are seeing. I am so sorry. I may have to redo this, but just catch the replay if you didn't catch it. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. I don't know why it's not showing up for you guys, but I'll just keep going. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we have the shape. Let me go down here. We have the pupil. Okay, we know that it's going to be right in the center of the eye, and the iris is really circular, perfectly circular. So you have the iris, the pupil, and the shape of the eye. Okay, now we're going to put it together. Okay, let's turn the page. I'll let y'all catch up, and I'm going to see why this is not working correctly. I'm not sure why. Hold on just a second. That was weird. All right, are we ready? So we've got all that down now. Now, what I did was I went on unsplash.com. If you didn't join us last week, there's a website called unsplash.com, and you can get pictures for free. They're royalty free. This was just a beautiful picture of an eye. And what I wanted to do for today was make it black and white so that it would be easier to draw with a pencil. So we're going to be doing this eye in a minute. Okay. And we're also going to be doing this eye. This is a Hispanic eye. Okay. So let's go back over some real basic things here. The eyelid, there's always an eyelid. Your iris, your pupil, remember it's right at the center. See that? It's right in the center. Okay. The iris is not always in the center. because it could be over here too. You know, people are looking at you with the side eye. It could be there, but the pupil will never change locations because it's that hole. Okay, then you have your eyelash line, your lower lid, and your lower lash line. Okay, now let's look at the difference with different ethnicities. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my screen here. Let's look at this eye. This is an Asian eye, and look at the differences. She's got almost a hooded eyelid. You'll see that? It's hooded. And if you look at Asian eyes, you'll see that's the difference right there. They don't have much of an eyelid, upper eyelid, which is fascinating to me. A Hispanic eye. This is a lady, I think they said she was Hispanic, but hers is kind of an almond eye. You see that? But she's got, if you'll see, she's got the shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You see, it's not a perfect, you know, like a perfect football, like we talked about last time. Okay, so that's a great picture reference as well. Here's a great picture reference. If you just look up Google eyes, wow, you'll find all kinds of stuff. And you can tell who these people are just by their eyes. It's just fascinating to me. Okay, yeah, look, there's Angelina Jolie and Katy Perry, you know, so this is really fascinating to look at. All right, and then let me see. Oh, also, here's Unsplash. You can put up eyes, and they'll bring up all these amazing pictures of eyes that you can draw from, and royalty free. So you can print them out and use them, and you know, it's a great website. And then lastly, men's eyes. What's the difference between men's eyes? Usually their eyebrow is closer to their eye, obviously because they don't pluck. Well, some do, but most of them are a thicker brow, you know, and you can see the difference there as well. So we are going to start out with, let's start out with this eye. Okay, so we're going to go back over to my drawing pad, and let's get started. All right, so we're going to do this eye first. Okay. All right, so follow along with me. Because she has the great, you know, almost textbook perfect eye, this is going to be an easy one. Okay, and I'm using reference photos. Nothing wrong with that, especially if they're royalty free. You use all the photos you need to. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, and I'm going to draw kind of big here. I'm going to turn this over. All right, so we're going to start out with the shapes. Okay, remember we did the shape. We did the carbuncle. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know. Okay. So far, so good. I haven't gotten any more comments. Okay. All right, so I'm using an old-timey pencil. Caruncle, tear duct. Okay. We're going to do number 1. Also notice, you guys, hopefully you can see it. I'm drawing very lightly to start out because I want to be able to erase my lines. Okay, so that's 1, shape 1. Then we're going to do the dome, shape 2. Okay, I'm following closely with this lady. Shape 3, just that one. Okay, 1, 2. Shape 1 almost comes up to a point and then goes over. That's the difference. Shape 2 and 3, they're kind of close. They're close. Okay. Again, I'm going to be looking at the relation between the middle of this and the tip of my eye. You want that shape 3 to end right in the center here where that car is. So do a light line right here. Okay. Now we're going to do shape 4. Remember, shape 4 is parallel to shape 5 here. And then, to shape 1. What did I say? 4, 1. And then we're going to finish off with 5. Okay. Now, if you have a kneaded eraser, go ahead and erase that line. Okay. You'll see that. So you've got a really nice shaped eye here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finish it out. 5. Teardrop. Okay. Teardrop. Teardrop. Carbuncle. Okay. Let's close that out. You see that it closes here. Okay. And we also see that the carbuncle has 2 distinct parts. So let's do a line here and a line here. Do a line here and a line here. And again, we're just lightly filling all this in. Okay. Now her eye, unlike this eye, this one is wide open. You can see the whole shape of the iris. This one is more like normal, where you don't see the whole shape, but it cuts off at the top. Okay, so we're gonna go to the center. Okay, let's do the center because it looks like it's pretty centered. And then we're going to do a circle. I know circles are hard to draw, y'all. They really are, actually, you know. So we're going to draw. And what I'm doing is I'm drawing the shape of the circle, and then I'm kind of inching, ooching, scooching over to make it a little more accurate. Okay. So we have this eye here. Okay, what did we talk about? The pupil. The pupil. If the center of the eye is here, let's do the center here. So you've marked off the center of your circle. Remember, this is a whole circle. Cross it vertically and horizontally. And then draw your little pupil. Notice I did the center of my iris. I didn't do the center of my eye shape. Okay? The center of my eye shape would have been down here. Don't do that. Always treat the iris as one separate shape that stands alone. So that's the one you're going to divide horizontally. Okay? And she's got a pretty small pupil. So we're going to do the small pupil here. Okay? All right. So let's keep going. Now she's got the lid here, and the lid, you know, I'm just going by my reference. You know, lids can go as really high up, depending on the age of the person, or they can be really, really hooded. Like my eyes, I don't have much of a lid anymore. As I get older, I lose my lids. Or like we said with Asian people, they don't have hardly upper lids. So, but this gal has a pretty textbook. She's got a pretty cool eye. I mean, it's pretty textbook. So we're going to add a lid, and we're just going to follow the contour of the top lid, upper lid, or the top edge of the eye. Okay. So just follow the contour. You can even go 1, 2, 3, because it's those shapes like we did. Follow the contour. And then she's also got this little line here. So again, don't miss these details. These details are what really save you and make it look like a real eye. Okay? We're going to add a little bitty fold. She's got a little wrinkle, a little fold there. Okay? And then remember how I told you last week how to measure? So we're measuring that eye. And I'm going, okay, how far is this eye from her eyebrow when I'm drawing? So I'm going to measure the eye, and I'm going to go, oh, it's 1 eyeball width to the top. So I'm going to measure my iris here, and I'm going to go up. Unfortunately, off the page, but we'll go ahead and just add a couple of strokes. We're not going to spend time on the brow today because that's another lesson on hair. But we will kind of put an indication of where her eyebrow is, just for placement, okay? So just add that for placement. How are we doing, guys? We doing okay? Not missing any? Okay. Are y'all seeing good? Yeah. All right. All right, let's get back to the eye. All right, so let's do We're going to always remember what I said about light source. If you look at this eye, where's the light source coming? Well, I see a little shiny spot right here and a shiny spot here. It's almost like coming front, but I'm going to assume it's coming from over here. So let's just put a little light bulb here, so we know that the light source is coming from up here. Okay. Okay, so when the light source is coming here, remember, everything here is going to be lighter, and everything outside of that light source is going to be darker. So that's why she's got dark and dark, and it's lighter and lighter. Okay. All right, so we're going to start out. Let's do the pupil first. The pupil and the iris. Okay, so I'm going to actually go to a darker pencil. And I am going to darken in my pupil. Darken it in. Okay. One thing you might notice too, I went way too, she's got little space right there. My eyes too open. So let's just close it in a little bit more. See what I'm saying? Let's just close it up just a little bit. We'll erase this. Same shape, same everything. But if you want accuracy, then let's close it up just a hair. All right, so darken it in the pupil. And then remember the iris boundary, we're going to darken that in as well. The boundary of the iris is always darker no matter what. Even in blue eyes, it's going to be a little bit bluer or darker blue. Since this is a brown eye, because I'm looking at the real picture, it's really dark. It's almost black. Okay. All right. Now here is where I take my blending stump, and I'm going to kind of soften. And if you don't have a blending stump today, I would recommend a tissue paper, and you take the tissue paper and wrap it around like a sharp point, or whatever, and use that, okay? But these are really good. My pet peeve that I told y'all last week was that you use your fingers to blend. Ugh, it drives me crazy. Okay, so I'm softening up the boundary of the iris. See? Isn't that cool? Okay, let's soften that up. All right, and then we're going to really get it really dark around the top here. Okay, the eyelashes. All right. Now, because the eye, let me show y'all a really good, this is a great little diagram. The eye is set in, and the inside lid has this space, this shadow. It's going to be darker, okay? And then the lower lid also has that space, that ledge. It's going to be lighter, okay? Isn't that a great little, I love that. So keep in mind, that's how eyes are. You're going to see a dark shadow under here, and that's what starts to round out the eye like a ball. So if we're taking that into account, this is actually perfect for this. Then we're going to go ahead and shade this upper ledge of the lid. Does that make sense? And we'll shade it in even more in a second. Okay, but for now, let's just shade it in lightly like this. Okay. And then take your blending stump or your tissue and soften it up. No hard lines here yet. Okay. All right. And then we're going to just bring it over here. Let's look at this again. And see, you can see where it's darker. And it comes all the way down to the bottom of her caruncle. Okay. So she's got a darker lid, upper lid, and then a lighter. And we'll get to that lower lid in a second. All right. let's spend a little bit more time with this iris. All right, now I'm going to switch over. If you don't have a different pencil, I'm switching over now to a hard pencil, okay? And what I want to do with a hard pencil, first of all, I'm going to just fill in the whole thing. Very lightly. Let's just fill it all in. And notice how I'm holding the pencil on the side, okay? Holding the pencil on the side. Because you get more area. Lightly. Because you can build up layers if you go lightly. Cross-hatching is a way of shading where you go one direction and then you go the opposite direction. So if you want to do that, you can do that cross-hatch, or if you want to keep it vertical, or if you want to keep it horizontal, just fill in the whole eye. Everybody see that? Okay, and remember, it's darker up here. So I'm going to start to intentionally darken up the top of the eye. Okay. And it's darker around the edge of the iris. Okay. Build up slowly. This actually pencil, this is an H. I don't know what it is, but it's an H, a 2H. It's way too hard. I'm going to move over to, let's see. It's an H. I'm going to do, looking for a 2E. Let's do this one. Yeah, this is a different one. So I'm going to start filling in lightly. Okay. And where I want it to be darker, I just go back over it a little bit more. Okay. See that? All right. Now, remember the spot I told you about, the center of the eye? Okay, let's look at this. Can you all see that? The center of the eye is the hole, which is the pupil. The center of the pupil is that. You have radiating marks that come out through that. Okay, so we're going to do that here. We're just going to start to radiate. And I'm going to use a darker. I'm just going to do it kind of lightly. From the center out. Just kind of to start creating the realism of this eye. Okay. Not too hard, not too soft, you know, just kind of in between. All right. See that? Okay. Then you notice she's got a kind of a variegated, a little bit darker. So you got a really nice base layer. So now we're going to start adding a little bit of contrasting, a little darker. Okay, so if you have your different colored books, pencils, then this I'm using an 8B. It's actually a dark one, but I'm very light putting it in there. Very lightly, okay? So I'm adding a little bit of variegation. I'm using my photo reference. And it's really just, if you just look at the thing, you can see there's no right or wrong, really. You can just add different variegated shadows. Okay. Okay. So we've got a good beginning here. Now, this is really dark. I'm going to go dark, a little bit darker here. This is dark as the pupil, so I'm going to actually give it a little bit of a darker color. Okay. Remember, this is just the base, so yeah, we're going to put in shiny in a minute. Okay, before we go too far. Okay, remember this is dark too. All right, I'm going to take my blending stuff And now I'm going to start to blend it all. This is way dark here. So I'm going to leave just a little bit for that white reflection, okay? And then this is really dark here. And because the eye is it's smooth inside of there, it looks smooth. The blending stuff works really, really well to blend all these shade variances. So I highly recommend these things. Are really cheap. You can find them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's in the architecture department. You can find blending stumps. Do a great job of blending. Okay. All right. How are we doing? Doing good? Y'all are either really quiet or y'all are concentrating really well. Okay. So before I get any further, I'm going to start to add my reflection. Okay. Now, remember what I said about just taking an old eraser end or whatever. Okay. You want to start taking some of this off. And we can just erase it. You don't go too crazy. Ideally, it's good to leave that space unpenciled or whatever. But since I colored it, that's okay. Okay, I am going to take, where do we go? Here's a little piece I had too. It's a little piece I cut off. And then I'm going to take, just because I have it, I'm going to take my little electric eraser and get rid of it. She reminds me of the dentist. Oof. Woo. That does a good job. These are good to have too. I started using them. Okay, I'm going to do that. We'll fix it in a minute. I'm also going to be using a white jelly roll pen. So if you have a white pen, go grab it because we'll use that to enhance the white. All right. So now if you've had a chance to erase your little spot there as much as you can, we're going to move on. I kind of erased too much, but anyway, I'll fix it. All right. So because I blended it, I want to go back and kind of add some darkness to the pupil. I feel like I blended it out. Okay, and if you notice, mine's starting to look a little bit flat. So what I want to do is just add more of the shadows inside the eye. See? So let's go back and just add a little bit more, variation in the darks and lights. Okay. And if it's starting to look muddy, just erase it and then redraw it. Holy moly, mine really looks like an eye. Yay, Louise! I know. Isn't this crazy? You could, yeah, trust the process. All right. That's awesome. Thank you for saying that. That's awesome. Okay. All right, now I'm going to add, she's got just a couple of really fine lines I want to kind of add from the bottom because I just want to make it look really realistic. And like I said, you can just, this can be your thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's going to look like an eye, right? All right. And when we add that white, boy, it's going to just pop. All right. Okay, so you should be this far along now. Now we're going to start to color in the sclera. Okay, now the sclera, it's the white of the eye, but it isn't white all the time. I'm using my HB on this one, and I'm just going to lightly color it, shade in. Again, I'm using the back, so I'm holding my pencil from the back so I don't put so much pressure on it. And I'm just going to color in the whole thing, okay, just like this. And towards the middle, where there's no light, and it goes deeper, it's going to be a little darker. See what I'm doing? I'm going a little darker towards the middle, towards the caruncle. And I'm going to find out how to say that word. Okay. I just lost my line, but we'll go back over there. Okay, so it's going to be a little darker here. And then I'm going to go along the side here. We're coloring the whole thing. But this part is going to be lighter. Okay, and then here, we're going to do the same thing. Just lighten it up right here. Okay. Now, when you're doing the whites, okay, when you're doing dark colors, you can use your blending stump. When you're doing lights, skin, whites of the eyes, or anything light, use your brush. Okay? Let me say that again. When you're doing darks, just like this, you can blend all the way, and you can smear, and that won't affect you. But if I were to take this blending stump and start on the white here, that's going to ruin it. You're going to see all kinds of marks. So you want a softer way to blend. So you want to get your brush. Okay, so here I'm going to start smoothing out with your brush. If you have your brush, make sure an old brush will do. This is just a beautiful blender. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and just blend all that. Look at that. It's just starting to look really nice. Okay. Any questions? How are we doing? Never been able to get a drawn eye to look right. I now see where I've been. Oh, good, Brad. Welcome. Good to see you. You guys have to send me your pictures. Private message me or comment. Send me your pictures because I want to see. And if you have any suggestions for my teaching skills, lack of skills, whatever, you'll let me know. Okay, remember the lid is, remember this, okay? Look at this. There's a nice shadow underneath here. So my lid is giving me, is casting a shadow right underneath that sclera. Just because it's white doesn't mean it's not getting a shadow. So make sure that you cast that shadow under that upper lid. Okay? Perfect. All right. Good. And then this right here, we're going to leave right now because we want to make it wider. And so we're going to take your kneaded eraser, it's another must-have, and we're going to start taking away, removing some of that part white just to give it that roundness. So remember, you're getting a little tiny shadow here, towards the center. It's going to be out towards the light. It's a little bit lighter. Okay. Now, if you notice that look all jagged, a little jacked up, so I'm just going to take my brush and just blend it in just a little bit more so you get that. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing on mine, yours is probably better, is that this is not looking like a circle. I'm going to try to fix that a little bit. I'm going to take away that so we look in. Okay. 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 So far so good. How are we doing? Y'all's looking like an eye? All right. So now we're going to go, let's see what time it is. How are we doing on time? Trying to keep it this time. Okay, we're almost done actually. Okay, we're going to go here to the caruncle and we're going to put the end of it, it's like a little pad. We're going to put that in there and then we're going to add the second line to that. Okay, so and then we're going to take the little piece of eraser that I had and we're going to give it a little bit of a shine in there. Okay. All right. Now, if you notice her skin, let's do the skin a little bit. Her skin on this side is darker, so we're going to go to I'm just going to take this one. We are going to lightly shade in this lower part. We're going to go a little bit longer today just because of my technical difficulties that we had, okay? Because I want to make sure we get this whole thing. Now, on the lower lid, because you see the texture of her skin, it doesn't matter if you can see your line, your marks. It really doesn't matter. Actually looks really good. And then where her crease is, I'm going to go just a little bit darker, okay? So it starts to round out that lid, all right? Okay, now let's do this lower lid real quick. Okay, as I said before, the lid, I'm going to go in, actually. I'm going to go in from the lower lid here. Okay. There is a lower ledge, and because the light, remember the light is coming down here, we are going to erase that edge a little bit. Okay. And we will blend that in a minute. So let's go ahead and bring the shading of the lower lid over. Let's just go ahead and cover it up here. Just bring it here. And remember what I said, when you're trying to do skin, don't use your blending stuff unless you're doing a mole or a freckle or whatever. Use your brush, okay? And you'll get a beautiful, nice, smooth blending effect here, okay? So y'all can see where it's darker here is where it's deeper. The darker is where the light is darker, deeper, okay? It's the shadow. I'm going to add a little bit more here because it is a little bit darker. And you can see the crease a little bit more. All right. Okay, we're going to just blend all that in. Fabulous. Oh, hey, Danielle. Are you drawing with us or are you just creeping? Huh? I like to tease people. All right, so let's do this. Now let's do the upper lid. Now, if you see right here, the light's coming from here, from our little light bulb. So there's a definite highlight right here. And then as it goes in towards the eye, it's darker, okay? So we're going to take the side of our pencil again, and we're actually going to, let's do the upper lid first. Let's do it pretty dark. All right, we're going to go dark. Pretty dark, really dark. This is, on these surfaces, you want to do probably an 8B or a 6B. Because you do want a dark fold, the fold of the lid here. You really want to get it dark, okay? And remember, on the dark one, you can actually stump it. That's my new phrase. You can stump it. Stump, blend it. Tortillon is the name of these little guys. Okay, so she's dark there, and then she's got a little fold as well here. You can see that, okay? We're going to add that fold here. Okay, now let's take our regular pencil and just shade it in here. Remember, leaving this lid light right here where that light is coming, and then come back over here where it's darker. And you can actually see she's got a shadow right there. Okay, so dark, dark, and it gets really dark here. And then light here, let's leave that. Do all of this before you do the eyelashes, okay? Olga's creeping too, huh? We'll draw later. Yeah, sometimes the replay is a lot better to see. The thing we had, if you're just joining us, we had some major issues, technical issues. I wasn't able to get the screens right. But anyway, you'll see it on the replay. Okay, so take your brush and you're going to blend all that in, and you're going to leave that light one right there. Okay, so you'll see the difference, especially when you look back. You know, walk away from it, and you're going to go, "Whoa, that thing's popping." Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and give her just a little bit. We're not going to spend time with the upper brow here. Hair is going to be one separate class all by itself. Okay. So what I see here, if you can see it from my vantage point, you do see a definite light here. I'm going to just take my kneaded eraser and remove some of that, and you see a really nice highlight there. Okay, and then just blend it. Make sure you don't leave those hard lines. Unless you have hard light and hard shadow, make sure you blend it all. You're either going to be using your brush, a blending stump, or, you know, like, this is not tissue, but like a piece of Kleenex. I have one. Okay, you can also take a piece of Kleenex, like, you know, here. And if you want to, you can use that as a really nice blender. Okay, little piece of Kleenex, but make sure you change positions on your Kleenex all the time. Okay, otherwise it'll start smearing where you don't want it to. That's the only way to use your finger, though. Don't ever use it like this, or it drives me crazy. Okay, so let's work on the eyelashes real quick. Now, eyelashes, let's talk about eyelashes. So eyelashes, here's a good little diagram. Eyelashes follow the curve of your eye, okay? Eyelashes do not go, let me go back here. This was the one I was working on. Okay. Okay, I see this a lot. Boom, 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 boom. If you want to do eyelashes in a stylized way or a cartoon, that's great. That's fine. You know, do that like that. But eyelashes follow the curve. So what I want you to do is just start practicing on curve. Curve, 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 curve. On one tutorial on YouTube, I saw the girl said to act like it's a J and follow the contour of the eye like it's a J. So we're going to do little flip up with the wrist, okay? So on her eye, we're going to start on the outside. Let's do the outside, and we're just going to do that J, okay? And I actually did a long one there, but it's not that long. Okay, so it's no big deal. Eyelashes are not the same size. Remember that? Look at your own eyes. They are not the same size. And they're also not equidistant. You know, people that draw, let's see, I'm looking for, there we go. They're not, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they're like 3, 4. You know, they're clumped. They're clumped together. So they follow the contour. Okay. So if they're following the contour, then that means towards the middle, it's going to go straight up. And then they're going to start following the contour this way. Okay? It's kind of a repositioning of your wrist. You start out like this, and then you go like that. Just practice it. That's all I can say. Practice, but always curve, 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 curve. Okay? Curve, curve, straight, 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 curve, curve, curve. Okay? And you can go as much or as little. And I'm kind of going about my own thing, okay? But she's got a dark one here, and then she's got a dark one here. Okay, here we go. All right. Now we're going to add a little bit of my little brush here. I'm gonna add a little bit of a dark shade here, just because we want to round out that lid. So let's add a little bit of shading here. Okay, how are we doing? Good. All right, same thing on the lowers. Okay, remember this ledge that we did here? We're not going to touch that ledge. Okay, let's not touch that ledge. We are going to add the eyelashes from the edge, and they are different places. And again, curve, curve, clump. They're clumped. Curve. Some of them are on top of each other. Others are separate. but it's always on this edge here. Okay? So you should have a little space and then this edge. Okay? And then they get lighter as they get towards the inside here. So we're just going to do that. And you can go, again, as long as you want. Okay. All right. So, how are we doing? Almost done here. Okay, so if you notice on her eye, we all have veins. So we're going to probably use our lightest pencil, remember this is a little light one, and add veins on her sclera, the whites of her eyes. We're going to add some veins just to make it look a little more realistic here. And over here, she's got some areas. And I'm just literally going cutting with my, you can barely see them. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is your basic eye. Now, you're going to add the most important, I would say the most important by hands down, the most important thing to do the eye is the shining, because that really lightens up the eye. So what I really want to do is make this really get rid of a lot of this here. Okay, on my picture, I'm going to have, and again, this is subject to opinion, you know, you don't know what you're shiny, your eyes are shiny, so they could be, you know, whatever. But, and also these are going to be different shapes too, depending on what you're looking at. This, I'm not sure what this is looking at, but if you look at some photos, you'll see the actual thing in there, you know. Now, make note too that these lashes, they are casting shadows on the eye shine, on the reflection. So we want to make sure to add that. That'll make it even more realistic, okay? All right. Okay, let's look at that. So as I look at this, just hold it up in front of you, I see that this area needs to be darker. And you can make those adjustments on your own, okay? And you want to make those adjustments on your own. So you're going to be able to tweak it. Just tweak it all. Really work on it, okay? I want to see, y'all need to send me stuff because I want to see how you're doing, especially now. We could go on. When we talk about the skin and the texture of the skin, that's a totally different, that's another class as well. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is use this white pen and just, hopefully it's working, because some of these things don't work sometimes. And add white to this little guy, and then white here, and then also white here, you know, like need to make this a little bit more shaded. Okay, so I just done that. So what I did, I scratched my paper, and that's okay. I'm going to use this. For all those sales, pull out your marker. But you want to use your white, especially on teary things. Feels creeping on me in there. And then you can also erase that later. But use that as your shiny thing. I'm using just an acrylic marker, but you can use, ideally, you want to use a jelly roll or a one of those Uniball, but mine are all dried out. So there you go. Here's your eye. I appreciate you guys for hanging in there. We had some major technical problems, Phil. You have any questions? We're going to go over more of this next time, just because I feel like I had to rush it through. But this is a good start. Let me come over here. Sorry, you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Okay, so that'll be all for today. Send me your pictures of your eyes. When you look at it from here, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Yeah. I gotta figure all that out, this little technical thing. But email and message me. If you want to be a part of our monthly art box, go to the wildnest.com and subscribe to our monthly art box. And I want to see how you guys did, and appreciate y'all's support. And y'all have a good week. Next week we are going to be doing the nose, so that's a biggie. That's a big challenge. We'll go over the eye a little bit more since I didn't get to cover some things, but we will be going over the nose next week. There was one thing. What was I going to show you? Oh, here we go. Let me show you real quick here on the men's eyes. Look up, Google men's eyes, Google Asian eyes, Hispanic eyes. Just practice your eyes, okay? And thank you for joining me today. This is great. I really learned a lot. Thanks so much. You bet, Louie-Ann. Good to see you guys. And y'all have a great week. Get out there and enjoy this beautiful weather. Can you believe it was 4 degrees last week? Y'all get out there and enjoy the weather, and we'll see you next week, 2 o'clock, Tuesday. Bye.